guys, welcome to another vlog. Woo! So I've just finished my second week of being a community nurse as a newly qualified as well. Who said you could do that? And I asked Twitter about what I should talk about today, and I decided to pick up something which I don't think I've talked about yet, and that is deskilling. And I did write a blog about all the myths that comes up, so I will link that to you in case you want to read something instead of watch something. And yeah, so one of the most common misconceptions about going into community, whether you are going into it as newly qualified or going into it as like a career change, I've heard people be like, oh, but you deskill in the community. I'm gonna let you into something. You don't. End of video. I kind of don't really understand where this idea has come from, because in the community, if you don't know this, district nurses made up of band 5s, band 6, band 7s, band 4s, some band 3s I think, but yeah, mainly those, they work autonomously, which means you are not dictated by doctors, which, as much as you try and say you're not, you are in the hospital because you have to. In the community, you work with, a lot of the places now are doing the same as my workplace. They're attached to a GP practice. So we only go and see patients who are attached to our GP practice. But that doesn't mean that the GPs dictate what we do. It means that we work with them. And that is such a different kind of way of working in nursing, and that's one of the reasons why it attracted me. But because you work autonomously, how could you deskill? Like, you're completely by yourself. So, for example, the other day I went into someone's home, and all it said was, okay, just do a pressure area check and also do an equipment check. And I'd met this lady before, but straight away, you have to walk around the house and see, like, well, does she need a hospital bed? Is she having enough help at home? Is she getting out enough? Does she look well? You know, I could walk into any house and see, okay, this person looks like they have sepsis and I'll have to deal with that, or I might find them on the floor after a fall. There are a whole wide range of things. You don't know what you're walking into, and I think that's really exciting, but it's also quite nerve-wracking. And you need to have those skills to be able to make a really good clinical judgment. And obviously I'm not there yet, but I know that if I walk into somewhere and I don't feel like I can handle that situation, I can call one of my colleagues and someone will come and support me. That is the beauty of community. Okay? Some of the skills that we use on a daily basis: assessment, communication, extremely important and very different in someone's home. So you no longer have that sort of, patients try to sort of get along and listen to you in hospital because it's your area, you're in charge of it, you control it, they're there to be invited in and be your patient. Not like that in community. You walk into their house, you follow their rules. You're there to provide them care in their own environment, and that's a very different kind of relationship, and it tends to mean that they're very much more upfront with you, and which means that you've got to have a little bit of a stronger backbone, I think, because people will tell you straight up what they think of you, but it also means that you tend to get more honesty from people because they trust you. You have to build that therapeutic relationship very quickly. So communication, huge upskill. Okay, I'm going to use upskill from now on. Stuff like catheterization sounds simple, but in the hospital you have your nice sterilized everything. You know where everything is. If something goes wrong, you just pop around and grab another member of staff. You go into someone's home, you realise that you want to put them on bed, but it's covered with cardboard boxes. You want to wash your hands, there's nothing to wash your hands with. You go and look and where their catheters are and you see that it's been mouldy for months. You don't know what's going to happen. You have to work with the environment. I kind of think that community nursing is a bit like Blue Peter in that way, because you just kind of go, oh, these are the things I have, let's make something out of it. And it's the same with other skills as well. Wound care. End of life care, huge, huge, huge part of community nursing is end of life. And again, you know, it's so much more holistic, and you're able to deliver those kind of promises, I guess, when people, if they're dying, they tend to want to do certain things. And I think a lot of the time in hospital, you're controlling that situation, and like visitors can only come in at certain times, but in someone's home, the family's there all the time, and you need to make sure that you're working with them. What else is there? Oh, compression, really complex type of bandaging, which nobody in the hospital seems to know how to do, which means every single time a patient goes into hospital who needs compression, they come out worse. Please, can someone tell me why no nurses have learnt compression in the hospital? This has happened over 3 different trusts I've been to during my training. Why? Please train nurses to do compression, because it is killing our patients' legs. Anyway, my rant is over on that part. Dopplers, really big part of it. Ear syringing. I'm trying to think of more things. Basically, community isn't about deskilling, it's about upskilling, and it's different skills. As a nurse, you are meant to be able to work anywhere, whether that be in a clinic, or in outpatients, or in surgery, or in a ward, or in A&E, or on ICU. All these places, because at the end of the day, specific skills like, I don't know, venipuncture, or complicated stuff that happens in ICU, I'm not going to pretend like I know all about that. They can be learned if you are there as a job, right? They're not that you learn specialized skills everywhere you go, but transferable skills, as the name suggests, can be taken everywhere. So that means that if in a year's time I decide, unlikely, if I decide in a year's time I can't be bothered with this community nursing lark, I'd rather work long days in a stuffy hospital, I can still do it, because I still have those transferable skills, and the things that I have been doing in community as my job are still going to be really valuable to wherever I'm going. So please, please, please stop seeing community nurses as like some sort of easy retirement route. It's really not, and I really mean that. I'm not saying that it's any harder than any other job. I don't think this needs to be a competition, but I do think people need to realise that we're not just popping in for cups of tea. It is a serious job. We are just as understaffed as the hospital, you just don't see it. So yeah, please don't think it's deskilling. I kind of don't know what else to talk about now, so I'm going to finish for today. Please tell me what you want to chat about next. I think I'm going to do something about what it's like being a newly qualified in community, but I might just leave that till the end of next week, because then I've got like 2 weeks under my belt. If you don't follow me on Twitter, my name is Fika with Kitty, as it is on here. And yeah, I will link you that little thing I did about myth busting in the community, and I hope you have a good Saturday.